Hello, class, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I hope you're enjoying your time off. I'm going to be talking tonight a little bit about stress buttons and what those stressors are in my life. A few years ago, I actually dealt with stress. I didn't know it at the time, but I actually thought I was having health issues. Later on, found out it was actually stress that was affecting my health. And so ever since then, I've known that stress is something that I do not want to live with and that I want to eliminate as soon as possible. And so, actually, one of my stressors I've been working on this past year, and that is when I ask someone to help me with something and they agree to do it and then they don't perform the task. That is a major stress button for me. But I have decided that that is something I do not want to stress me out, especially since I've been working on my master's degree and I've needed a lot more help. And so the first thing I do is simple. I just take a couple of deep breaths. Then I remind myself that it's not the end of the world, that it is okay. It can be done at a later time, whether that person does it at a later time or if I do it myself. And basically, that has helped me deal with that issue. I still have to remind myself to take a breath, and I still have to remind myself that it's not the end of the world. So it doesn't come instant and easy yet for me. But as soon as I do those two things, the stress leaves and I'm ready to go. The second stress button that I have, that one's a little bit different. It's a little bit more personal and harder to deal with. And that is if a person tries to manipulate me, deceive me, or put me into guilt trips. I do not deal well with that. I don't like that. I grew up with that my whole life, and that is something that I don't want to live. I don't want to live in that type of a situation. I feel like this stress is a little bit harder to deal with because I have no control over whether other people try to do this to me or not, except for eliminating the time I spend with that person or eliminating that person out of my life, choosing not to spend any time with them at all. If I can't really do that in every situation with every person, there are going to be people that I cannot get away from all the time. So the first thing I do is I let them know that I don't appreciate the way they are treating me and the way it makes me feel. Unfortunately, I have not found this to be helpful because most people that treat other people in this way want to control them. And so I haven't found that to be useful yet. What I have found to be useful is to either spend zero amount of time with that type of a person or spend very little time with them. Also, to do lots of breathing, prayer, and exercise. I can run for a really long, hard time after dealing in a situation like that. But those are my two big stressors. And another thing that I found out when I did have my issue a few years ago was that the first two symptoms that I physically have of stress is I have pain in the back of my neck and I can't eat. Even though I'm hungry, I can't eat. I cannot eat. So those are my two physical signs that there's stress in my life and I need to deal with it. And that's when I know I need to start breathing. And depending on the type of stress, depends on my next steps. So I look forward to hearing from each of you and can't wait to see what kind of comments we each share with each other. So again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in January.